Okay, here we've got a Amstrad Mega PC, the 386 version. They did do a 486 version as well. I managed to get this off a friend. They found it at a car boot sale flea market for £2.50, and I gave them £3 for it. The main problem that they had getting it going was that it requires a multi-sync monitor to deal with the VGA from the PC part and the television resolution 15 kHz from the Megadrive part. It originally came with an Amstrad monitor, which also had sound built in. It had an extra pin in the VGA lead. Unfortunately, it was just loose when he found it, and so if you just plug it into a normal VGA monitor, you won't be able to use the Megadrive side because they won't be able to sync to the 15 kHz that it expects. Luckily, I've got an Acorn monitor here, which is a multi-sync monitor, and so I can use both sides. So here we go. Now I'm going to skip the memory test. This one has a 40 megabyte hard disk, and the system battery is dead. It is soldered onto the motherboard, and I've not got around to replacing it yet. It's not just you can't just slot a new one in. You've got to do a bit of soldering, so I've not got around to that yet. So therefore, if you start it up and it's not been plugged in for a while, it will come up with the system battery is dead, run setup. So if I run setup, I can go in and set the time and date, but I'm not going to bother doing that now. What I do need to do, because the floppy and the onboard IDE are disabled, is I need to set up the automatic configuration, which is F9. So I can just press F9, just give it a few seconds, and it will automatically configure those on. So they're enabled now, so that's okay. What it hasn't sorted out though for me is the hard disk drive. So if I go down to the hard disk drive is a 40 megabyte Seagate drive, and I did a bit of research to find out the sort of cylinders and heads and what have you on that on Google, on the internet. And I found out the type that it should be. So if you go into the fixed drive help and then press F2 to display a list of tables, the drive that we want, and if you're trying to get one of these working at home, is number 27, which is 820 cylinders, 6 heads, sector size 17. So therefore, if I press F6 and put that up to number 27, that will allow the computer to see the hard disk. Any other number and it doesn't work. So we can set that, save the configuration, escape out of that, and the computer will boot. Now, it's not set to boot from the hard disk. The hard disk is working, as you'll see in a moment when I boot Windows 3.1 from it. But it's going to boot DOS 5 from the floppy disk. It does have DOS 5 installed on the hard disk as well. And what I've done since I've had it is I've installed Windows 3.1 on it as well. Skip the memory test, it'll take too long. It's got 4 megabytes, this one. Okay, so it's just booting the DOS boot disk. If I go change to the C drive, CD, Windows and Win, we can load up Windows 3.1. Okay, so usual Windows 3.1 stuff, and okay, let's just type some text. Date today is the 16th of February 2008. Let's just highlight that. It uses a PS2 keyboard and mouse, by the way. They plug in underneath. So that confuses a few people because you look on the back and there's no ports for it. Right, so let's enlarge the font a little bit. Let's make it bold. Now I've got some headphones plugged into this in a 3.5mm jack on the back on an ISA card just above the Megadrive card. but you can plug in any sort of normal speakers, but I didn't want to take them off my other computer just for this. So we'll flick it into the Megadrive mode. Now to flick it to the Megadrive mode, you just slide this across over here. I've not saved this file here. Screen goes black. This is a little bit strange if you're used to using a normal Mega Drive or Genesis. You can just plug it in, and only when you plug it in will the cartridge actually, will the Mega Drive actually kick in. Actually, just before I do that, I better plug in a Mega Drive controller. Okay, if this is the Amstrad Mega Drive controller, but it will take any, it's just a standard 9-pin, so it'll take any Genesis or Sega Mega Drive controller. Okay, just give it a bit of a blow. A little bit of distortion up here at the top, but once it starts in the game it seems to sort itself out. This is running through the VGA cable on the monitor, so nice VGA quality graphics. I presume this is just because it's not the exact monitor that it's expecting, but aside from that little bit at the top there, it runs okay. You might be seeing some lines going up and down the screen, and that's purely because of the video camera and the amount of time that the screen is refreshing per second. Okay. So you can see that runs as you might expect, and if you want to change game, just pull it out, no turning on or off, anything like that. So I've got Virtual Racing. A little bit of distortion here at the top, but I think I'll get that on the TV as well. So, but you know, the game runs with borders as it does in PAL. Okay. There is a volume control here as well on the front, and you won't be able to hear it probably, but it does affect the sound in the headphones. So, you know, runs as it should. So let's stop that. Pull that out. Flip that back. I'm going to have to take the control out. Now I can carry on with the work. Okay, and there you go.